Hello boys and girls, welcome to my player ratings for last night's draw against Manchester United. Best way of summing up this game is disappointing. I feel we dropped 2 points in this game. You only have to look at both sets of fans and their current moods to get a kind of indication of what they thought last night. Manchester United fans are quite happy and feel like they've gained a little something from them last night. Whereas Arsenal fans are a little bit angry, a little bit pissed off, a little bit disappointed. We do need to look at the bigger picture, and that is we are in a rebuilding phase. We're still trying to achieve our objective, which is to get in the top 4. And if you would have said to all Arsenal fans before we play Bournemouth, listen, your next 3 games, Bournemouth, Spurs, Man United, you're going to pick up 7 points out of 9. I think every single one of us would have took that. So, like I said, the bigger picture is that we know where we're going. We can see a clear path. If you look at Manchester United, they're an absolute shambles. And as far as I'm concerned, they're nothing but a glorified Stoke City. Their tactics were very, very simple last night. That was to upset the rhythm, upset our play, and to foul us as much as they could. It's no exaggeration to say that Man United should have had 2 players sent off. Rojo for his tackle in the first half. Could that have been a straight red? Yes, it could. But should he have got a second yellow for what he did on Aubameyang? Most definitely. It was a rugby tackle. You look at Fellaini, what he did to Guendouzi when he pulled his hair. You absolute bitch. That was a straight red card. You know, our goals, Man United will say they should have been avoided. De Gea mistake. But then, so should have their goals. We should not be going 2-1 up with 15 minutes to go and straight from the kickoff, letting them score. Absolute schoolboy. You know, we all know the phrase that says you are at your most vulnerable after you score. And we just didn't have no game management. We should have saw that out. But even after it went to 2-2, there looked like there was only going to be one winner. That last 15-20 minutes, we were all over Manchester United. And De Gea, he made up for his error in the first half by keeping them in the game. Aubameyang 2 chances, wonderful saves from De Gea. Mkhitaryan, he had a goal disallowed as well. There was an incident with Lacazette where he had a goal disallowed. De Gea had it in one hand and Lacazette nodded it out. I don't know whether the rules have changed now, but in years gone by, that was allowed. The goalkeeper has to have the ball within 2 hands, but he had it in one. So don't quote me on it, because I don't know whether the rules have changed and what it is now, but we had so many chances. Torreira, there was another chance, unbelievable save from De Gea, all over him. And you look at it at the end, and although our exploits from the Spurs game looked like they may have caught up on us, we were the team that looked fresher. We were the team that looked sharper. So it's clear that what Unai Emery's doing in training and the fitness side of things is clearly working. So listen, as Arsenal fans, my message to the rest of you is simple. We know where we're going. We have a clear objective, and it's very, very, obvious that it's working. None of us expected to go 20 games unbeaten. If you'd have said to us by mid-December time, you'll be level on points for 4th place, only goal difference separating you with Chelsea, and a couple of points behind 3rd place, we'd have took your hands off. Let's be honest about it. So we're exceeding expectations, shall we say. And it's clear that things are working. So let's get behind the boys. Let's get behind Unai Emery. And I think we're going to have a good second half to the season, I'm hoping anyway. So there we go. What more can I say about last night's game? So with that said, I'm going to go and get into the player ratings for the game. In goal, Bernd Leno. Now, a lot of people will say that he might have been at fault for the second goal, but it was more Kolasinac than anything. But Leno, he was sound with his distribution and everything else, and it was pretty straightforward stuff. Didn't have a chance for the first goal, made a really good save. It was everyone else that fell asleep around him, even though Torreira was offside. Remember that one as well. But for last night, I'm going to give Bernd Leno a 6. Going to move into the defensive area. First of all, Hector Bellerin. It was a solid display, pretty straightforward. Got up and down. Dealt with the likes of Monreal and that really comfortably. Wasn't too bad. And yeah, for last night, I'll give Hector Bellerin a 7. Going to move into the 3 at the back. First of all, I'm going to go with Rob Holding, and I'm not going to give him a mark. Looks quite serious, his injury. Looks maybe like an ACL, and he's going to be out for a long time. I'm praying it isn't, but I fear the worst. So yeah, for last night's game, I'm not going to mark Rob Holding. Alongside him, I'm going to go with Sokratis, and I thought he was absolutely immense last night. Really, really good. And he dealt with everything that Manchester United had to throw at him. So one of the better performers. And I just feel that we need someone alongside him. And, you know, but good performance last night. I'm going to give Sokratis an 8 for last night. Next position alongside him, I'm going to go with Mustafi. And again, I thought he had a good performance last night. Didn't think he really put a foot wrong. Dealt with everything that came at him. And it was decent. So for last night, I'll give Mustafi a 7. Going to move into the next position, and that was Kolasinac. Now, I feel that getting forward, he was absolutely superb. Caused so many problems, but I've said this in my previews. He's great as a wing back, not as a fullback. You look at the incident with the second goal, he knows it was his error. He knows. He doesn't need telling. Even Unai Emery said he went into the change room and his head was down. And he said to him, listen, don't get your head down. It happens. The rest of your game was really good. And getting forward, he was such a massive threat for us. So for last night, I'm going to give a 7, actually, for that one, for Kolasinac. Going to move into the central areas. First of all, Lucas Torreira. I thought he had a really good performance again last night. He was bossing the midfield, controlling everything, knows when to nip in, knows what to do. I don't think he was our man of the match. I think he was up there, definitely. But it's a hard one to mark. I'm going to give Torreira a 7.5 for last night. Alongside him, I'm going to go with a young lad, Guendouzi. And you know what? It's mad. A 19-year-old can go to Old Trafford and, you know, control the likes of Matic and whatnot in there. And that's what he did. I felt it was a game of two halves for him. I felt the first half he got caught in possession a few times, and, you know, that little inexperience was showing. But in the second half, he was one of the reasons why we were good and we were causing problems. So like I said, game of two halves, and 19 years old going to Old Trafford and doing that. Unbelievable. So for last night, I'll give Guendouzi an 8. Going to move into the next position, and that was Alex Iwobi. Very lackluster performance in my opinion. Second time round, he's not really stepped up while given the chance to start the game. And it's that side of his game which he's still got to learn. And you've got to remember, he is still young, but not a great performance from Iwobi last night, and I will give him a 5. Going to move into the next position, and that was Aaron Ramsey. And tough one, because he got injured as well. I don't think it's as serious as Rob Holding, so I will mark him. But again, he had to come off at half time, and it just disrupted everything for us. We were so unlucky with those 2 injuries last night. But given the fact that he played a half, I'm going to have to give Aaron Ramsey a 5. Next position was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and although he wasn't on the score sheet last night, I thought he worked so hard. Watch his game again and you'll see just how hard he worked. Off the ball, getting back, getting stuck in. So yeah, decent performance. Just wished he would have tucked one of those chances away when it was 2-2. On another day, he probably would have done if it wasn't for De Gea being in goal. But for last night, I'm going to give Aubameyang a 7. Going to move into the substitutes, and first of all, Henrik Mkhitaryan played the second half. Don't think he had too bad a game, but he should have scored one of his chances. Caused a few problems, Had a goal disallowed in injury time. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. So for last night, I'm going to give Mkhitaryan a 6. Next player to come on was Alexandre Lacazette, and again changed the game when he come on. I know the FA have already taken his goal off him, but seriously, look at it again. It's his goal. Rojo got the tackle in, and it came off Lacazette last. Watch it. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, unlucky to not start the game. But listen, caused nothing but problems when he came on. So for last night, I'm going to give Lacazette a 7. Now another substitute was Stefan Lichtsteiner coming into that back three after Rob Holding got injured. And I thought he'd done all right, actually, considering he doesn't play much football and how old he is. But yeah, he did all right. So yeah, I'm going to give Lichtsteiner a 7 for last night. Now we're going to go with Unai Emery, and I'm going to give Unai Emery an 8. It was really difficult, 3 days after Spurs and everything else, but I felt he got the selection right. He was very, very unfortunate with injuries and whatnot. And yeah, that was difficult for him. But yeah, I'm going to give him an 8, to be honest with you. I felt that he managed it well. Substitutions with Lacazette, I felt changed the game, and he kept him back for that reason. So yeah, 20 games unbeaten, what can I say? So yeah, 8 is what I'm going to give Unai Emery. So there we have it. That is the player ratings. That is the manager's ratings. 20 games unbeaten. Should have won though. Should have won. There's going to be that little sense of disappointment within me. But listen, we move on. It's Huddersfield on Saturday. Let's get back to winning ways. Let's put another 3 points on the board. Now, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Keep an eye out for the preview for the Huddersfield game. Keep an eye out for the matchday vlog, then the player ratings, and then we go back to Europa League action. Yeah. So yeah, until those videos, I will see you lot soon. I am out of here.